My name is David, and my speech is called The Story of Inequality Food, Film, and Dallas. Dallas is a vibrant city. With its iconic skyline, booming businesses, and an intense food culture, it almost seems perfect at the time. The thing is, as Charles Dickens might have put it, Dallas is the tale of two cities. Dallas has an overall poverty rate of 30%, while the southern half of Dallas has a poverty rate of 40%. That's according to the Get Healthy Dallas' 2006 report, What is a Food Desert? Now, that's a difference of almost 10%. And that's a difference that I believe is unacceptable. Now, poverty shows itself in a lot of different ways. And hunger is one of those ways. And especially childhood hunger. That's one of the biggest impacts of poverty. And we had recently had an interview in 2014 with City Square's Child Nutrition Services Director, Kevin McNair, and she told us to think about childhood hunger this way. If kids aren't getting the food and nutrition they need, then they're operating at 50% of what they could have. That means they are learning 50% of what they could have. They are achieving 50% of their abilities. And frankly, they're set up to become 50% of the adults they could have been. Now, I've been working with hunger for about 2 years now. I've learned a lot with my schooling that's been focused around that, but also with my job, Child Nutrition Service Department, which focuses on getting meals to children in poverty. And I believe that one of the biggest issues stopping the end of hunger is the lack of awareness. And so I believe that a documentary will raise awareness and help promote the end of hunger in Dallas, Texas. Now, to help prove this, I want to go through first the facts of food insecurity and how it specifically impacts children. Next, I want to go over what food documentaries are like and how they're impactful. And then I want to go over what our documentary is like. Now, for those of you unfamiliar with food insecurity, I want to pull up a definition. According to the USDA's 2006 report, food insecurity is when an individual has reports of multiple indications of disrupted eating patterns and reduced food intake. Now, I understand that definition is a bit abstract. It doesn't really tell you what hunger is. What it basically means is that people are going hungry. They're not getting a meal. They don't know where their next meal is coming from. And it means that children are having developmental issues and people aren't getting the nutrition they need. And honestly, Texas is on the forefront of this issue. Take a look at this map from the Global Sociology blog. We see that the food insecurity rates in the nation range from about 7%, which is our lowest, which is still almost 1 in 10, to almost 20%. As you can see, Texas is one of the worst offenders. Now, according to a 2013 Coleman-Jensen report, Hunger and Poverty Statistics, Texas has a food insecurity rate of 18.6%. That's almost 1 in 5. That means 1 in 5 Texans don't know where their next meal is coming from. Or 1 in 5 Texans aren't getting the food and nutrition they need to be all that they can. And the thing is that there's a hard truth with this. And the hard truth is that children are most impacted by food insecurity. According to Feeding America's 2010 report called Child Development, food insecurity hurts children's development both mentally and physically. That means they're not doing as well in school or just being kids and going out and playing. They don't have the same energy that other kids have to just go out and be kids. Additionally, kids that suffer from food insecurity are more likely to be hospitalized. And when you're a family that's already having difficulties just getting by, having a kid in the hospital is the last thing you need. Additionally, food insecurity leads to higher rates of anemia and asthma, 2 chronic illnesses which just completely change lifestyles. In my opinion, when you're at a higher rate of that, you're at a higher rate of losing your childhood. And honestly, we need to give these kids their childhood back. The thing is to this whole issue is that there's solutions. We have solutions outlined, and people are already implementing them on a small scale. The thing is that nobody's doing them. And as Paul Quinn College's President Michael Sorrell put in a 2014 interview, how can we not see the end of hunger? In a nation that can cure polio, that we can get wireless service in the middle of nowhere, how can we not see the end of hunger? How can we not get food 10 minutes from a thriving downtown? And as Another interview we had from Kevin McNair, who works at Child Nutrition Service Department, we had that in 2014. She said, all it takes is for us to make the decision to end hunger. All we have to do is, as a nation, is make the decision that we don't have hunger in our communities, and we can end it. Now, some of y'all may be ready to get up and go feed some kids right now and go make that difference. That's great. That's what we need. We need more people like you. The problem is, not enough people feel that way right now. And we need to raise awareness so that more people know about it. And that's why we want to do a documentary. Now, I wanted to draw your attention to some food documentaries I've been out before. Now, most food documentaries kind of focus in on the system, like Food Inc. or King Corn. And others focus on health, such as Fast Food Nation, Super Size Me, or Hungry for a Change. But all of those documentaries had an impactful change. Super Size Me, for example, was made in 2006, written and directed by Morgan Spurlock, highlighted the dangers of fast food. Now, Morgan Spurlock ate nothing but fast food, but McDonald's, for a whole month. And as you watched him gain pound after pound and get sicker and sicker the whole time, you realize just how bad that food was for you. And at the end of his documentary that was published, McDonald's actually removed the Super Size Me option from their menu. We need to get hunger removed as an option from our communities. And I want to draw your attention to another documentary, A Place at the Table. Place at the Table was a wonderful documentary that really highlighted food inequality and insecurity in the United States. It took you through these personal stories, and it really hit me hard. It made me want to go out and get things done. It made me want to go change my community. But the issue was, when I finished watching Place at the Table, I didn't know how to change my community. I didn't know what to go do next. And I believe that's because the documentary wasn't made locally. There wasn't an obvious next step, a next change to make. And that's why I want to make our documentary local. I want it to focus in on Dallas. And I want to get these local nonprofit leaders that are in the fight every day, that have the passion to make a difference. I want to hear from them. I want to hear their side of the story. And then I want to hear from the community. I want to hear from Dallas what food insecurity looks like to them. And I believe that if we look at it that way, then we can invigorate people to work to end hunger in their own communities. Because the fight against hunger is not just the fight of nonprofits, nor is it just the fight of the government. It's not just the fight of the rich, or is it just the fight of the poor. The fight against hunger is a fight for all of us. It's a noble cause. It's a cause we need to stand behind. Now, I can understand if some people advocated for physical change, like we just go out and feed kids rather than make a documentary. And what I say to you is I wish we could do that right now. The problem right now is there just aren't the physical resources pointed towards hunger to make the difference that we need to make. And so that's why I advocate for a documentary in order to raise awareness so that we can mobilize those resources to end the evil of hunger in our own communities. Now, in this speech, I took you through what food insecurity is, and it's people going hungry, and it impacts children the most. It inhibits their development, both physically and mentally. And then I went through how documentaries are an impactful solution to raising awareness, and also how we're going to make a local documentary that shows Dallas just what it looks like. Now, if you want to help us, we have lots of ways you can do that. You can like us on Facebook. We'll keep you up on post-production and showings that might be in your area. Or you could go to or maybe even host a showing. And additionally, we have the plug that every single nonprofit has. We're looking for sponsors. So if you're willing to fund us to get this work to really make the difference it needs to, we'd love to hear from you. But also, if you just want to talk about hunger, maybe even documentaries, or just food in America, we'd love to hear from you. Thank you for your time.